especially when playing with the Quest 2. I'm a big believer that a VR mat is really good and helpful because it keeps you in your zone, keeps you from getting into trouble, maybe punching poor Zach in the face. They're really nice because a lot of them are anti-fatigue. They're nice to stand on. They feel good with wireless VR or even wired VR. And I have a couple ones that I like and have used, but I got another one, VerseMat. Let's open it up. Now I could get the unboxing knife out, but it looks like I can just open the bottom of this. Yeah. This one is kind of funny looking. It almost makes you think that it's meant for like DDR or something, because it has these pads on it, which there is no buttons or anything, and they are not useful in that way. I do like that it's got like some texture because of those. That's probably gonna help you with potentially slip and sweat, but it's not like this is gonna help your feet feel where you're at or something. The only thing that I really think that this one differentiates itself from ours is it has this ridge at the end, which helps it not be as much of a tripping hazard, but also when your feet get to that edge and you feel that drop off, that's gonna help tell your mind, okay, recenter yourself. And you might kind of be able to recognize this center piece with your feet, but really what I have learned, unless you have like feet that you use like hands all the time and you're used to intricacies that you feel, for the most part with the mat, you're not really gonna be able to feel what's on it and telling you which direction it is. You're basically just whether you're on or off the mat. $45 is the price on this. I do wonder if on some materials that would be slippery. Like the bottom is smooth, besides where it's cracked, it's super smooth. So we're gonna have to go do some real world testing, take this over to the garage, do some fitness on it, and see what we can learn. It's thick, like it feels like it's gonna give you a lot of cushioning, maybe more than any of the other mats I own. So I'm actually pretty excited to go test this one out. Let's take it over there. Now, as someone who has a lot of mats, I have a lot of experience because I use a mat every single time I play VR. Now this one, I did find the squishiness on it is great. If you're on hard floors, it's really nice on this mat. It's way thicker than any of the other mats I have. Interesting thing, in socks, I was worried this would be slippery, and it actually is the least slippery of all of them. That mat I said in my review, don't wear socks on that mat. It really does not want you to slip. It's close to this space station because this one has these lines on it that help with the slipperiness, but if you're this way, you'll still slip more versus this way, you won't slip much at all. This one actually is really slippery too. This one is almost as slippery as the Asterion mat. If you're barefoot, doesn't matter on any of them. But one thing I noticed on this one, if you're barefoot, the mat itself, it didn't slip, but I would sometimes feel when I pushed, I would feel the mat stretch a little bit on the front foot, which the other ones, they just don't tend to have as much flexibility like that, especially the Asterion one doesn't go anywhere. So you kind of notice this happening if you were on like a hard concrete floor that's slippery like this. The ridge, I thought I was really gonna like that, and I kind of like it, but on socks, you slip down the ridge when you land on it, which is bad. So barefoot, again, that's not gonna be as much of an issue. If you're someone who wears socks all the time in the house, that would be a problem. This is also the only mat out of all of them with shoes on. I feel like you really actually can tell still if you're on or off the mat, where these ones, it's kind of there, but they're not thick enough. This one's so squishy that with shoes, you really know when you're on it. I would recommend this mat if you have a smaller play space, because it's not nearly as big. I kept noticing I was wanting to step off it, but if you need to limit yourself into that space, this will help you stay there. And if you're someone who either plays barefoot on a hard floor, even on top of carpet with this, or in shoes, all those things this mat's gonna do pretty well. My only concern, again, depends on your floor, but the bottom of the mat could tend to slip a little. Some of them say put some water under it, which seems counterintuitive, but it helps them stick to the floor, creating a vacuum seal or something with those, I don't know. As far as all these mats go, it is comparable, and there are things that I do like better about it. As far as my everyday garage mat, I will probably still stick with the big Proximat with the Asterion on top, which is what I do every day out here for that extra cushioning. But let me know what you think. I know a lot of people say they don't need mats, or you use like the interlocking squares like we have out here in our gym anyways. I'd love to hear in the comments, or if there's something new coming and you see it, tell me, because I'd love to check it out. I know there's more innovation that could happen with mats and they could be better. But thank you for coming out, and I will see you in another reality. A sweaty reality, geez.